Me reading the final chapter, smiley face, hearts, blushing face, pleading face. Me reading the epilogue, angry face, steam from nose face, cursing face, red angry face, devil face.
Devil face. That's what I'm talking about. Pure, unadulterated reader rage. Forget your literary analysis. This is criticism. Emoji criticism.
Welcome back to Heart Book Radio, where nuance apparently comes to die.
And today we're diving face first into the murky waters of What the River Knows by Isabel. Ace. Apparently, it's the mummy meets death on the Nile, which is like saying my uncle, Barry, George Clooney meets a functioning member of society. It is not true.
For once, the marketing department's hyperbole seems to be the core issue. The book is a historical fantasy set in 1880s Egypt, following 19-year-old Inez Olivera investigating her parents' mysterious deaths. There's magic, archaeology, a handsome but maybe shabby assistant.
Whoa. Let's not bury the lead. People hate this Inez character. Like her. Want to push her off the felucca. Hate her. She's supposed to be this spunky Argentinian heiress. But she reads like a toddler with a trust fund and a death wish by getting robbed 5 minutes off the boat by needing wit. That's Mr. I lean on walls and smirk. Hayes to save her. Every 10 pages. By getting her own cousin killed. Poor Elvira. Shows up to support her cousin. Gets kidnapped. Gets graphically murdered. Right in front of Inez. Happy Tuesday.
The handling of Elvira's death is deeply problematic. It leans heavily into the fridging trope, sacrificing a female character solely to generate angst for the protagonist. It felt unearned. And frankly, quite brutal for a book that elsewhere features rather chaste romantic encounters.
Exactly. Is this Disney Channel? Oh, 1 minute Inez is blushing because Wit's hand brushed hers. The next minute, there's bullet, wounds, and mentions of brothels. Wit, don't get me started. Half the readers think he's God's gift. The other half think he's a manipulative con artist who's only nice to Inez once he clocks her inheritance. And the leaning. Reviewer wanted to throw her Kindle every time he lounged against a doorway with arms crossed.
His character archetype is certainly familiar. The brooding man with a mysterious past, possibly battling trauma or, as some reviewers speculate, alcoholism. It creates romantic tension, albeit built on somewhat shaky, repetitive foundations. His motivations are deliberately kept ambiguous, especially concerning his feelings for Inez.
Ambiguous. The man is a walking red flag factory. He's like those guys from college. The ones who quoted poetry, but also borrowed rent money.
That is entirely unfair. Edward Cullen was a glittering metaphor for something else entirely. Wit's potential flaws are narrative devices designed to create suspense. Though, I concede, the repetitive physical descriptions are tiresome.
Tiresome? It's infuriating. Okay, so, the big question. Is this book actually any good? Forget the mummy comparison, that ship sailed. Sank. And guided by Inez herself, probably.
Well, the historical detail regarding Egyptology and the period setting is quite immersive. Ibañez clearly did her research, even if the plot occasionally meanders. Some readers adore the atmosphere.
Meanders. The first 70% is slower than molasses flowing uphill. Antarctica. People were reading this thing just so they could write Scathing reviews. One just said, the character was stupid. The magic was stupid. The romance was stupid. The book was stupid. Poetry.
That's hardly constructive. There are legitimate criticisms, the pacing, the tonal inconsistencies, the fridging we mentioned, and the central hypocrisy is glaring. The narrative critiques British colonialism and artifact theft. Yet Inez, whose family wealth comes from similar exploitative practices in Argentina, ends up participating in smuggling herself.
Right? It's like complaining about traffic, while double parked. And don't forget the magic system, which felt kind of tacked on. Like, oh yeah, there's magic. But mostly let's focus. Anna's almost drowning again. If Inez were a sandwich, what kind would she be? I'm thinking something messy pay. Falls apart. Easily. Maybe a tuna melt dropped on the floor.
I am not assigning sandwich archetypes to fictional characters. However, the ending does seem to be a major point of contention. Apparently, the final chapter offers some romantic resolution, only for the epilogue to pull the rug out violently.
Violently? People are losing their minds. They hate the book. They hate Inez, kite, wit. But they need book, too. Is he a fraud? Is the whole romance fake? Is Inez's mom the secret baddie? It's brilliant. Annoying, but brilliant. I almost respect it. Almost.
It's certainly a bold narrative choice to end on such a destabilizing note after a relatively slow build. It ensures discussion, if nothing else.
Okay. Judgment time. Give it your fancy rating.
Despite the immersive setting and intriguing premise, the problematic tropes, inconsistent tone, and frustrating protagonist drag it down, I give What the River Knows 5 out of 10 potentially looted canopic jars.
Weak. So weak. I give it 2 out of 5 repetitive leaning poses. It failed the mummy test. Inez drove me nuts. But that ending has me hooked. Curse it all. It's terrible. Read it immediately.
That makes absolutely no sense.
Who needs sense when you have entertainment? Join us next week when we tackle Gary the Gargoyle's Guide to Existential Dread and Municipal Zoning Laws. Sounds like a real page. Turner.
I highly doubt that's a real book. Until next time, this has been Heart Book Radio.
Keep reading. Or don't. Just have an opinion. Bye.